Duff McDonald is here to talk about his fantastic new book, The Firm, The Story of McKinsey. Welcome, Duff.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Everybody knows McKinsey, but what makes McKinsey different from all other consulting companies?
Over the course of several decades, these guys have managed to position themselves as the premier and most important strategic consultant. The biggest, toughest questions that CEOs or chairmen of the boards have, they think, you know what, we should ask McKinsey.
In the book, you say that McKinsey sells, quote, enlightenment. Is their enlightenment worth the cost?
That depends. It's obviously worth the cost to somebody because 85% of their business is repeat business. But one of the brilliant things they've done is they have relationships with individuals. It's clearly of value and worth it to the people who hire them, whether it's worth it to the people who get laid off, to the people who suffer the bad advice. You know, that's a case-by-case basis. But yes, they're providing value to somebody.
And not all that enlightenment pans out. You talked about some of those bad cases. You can talk about GM, Enron, Kmart. Why don't these failures stick to them?
One of the interesting things about McKinsey is because they're in the position that they're in where they're advising everybody, one of the primary reasons to hire them is so that you kind of know through osmosis what everyone else is doing. So even if they failed you or someone else in the past, there's still value to hiring them again, even if it's in the very same industry, because they're talking to everybody else.
If there's no accountability, so I want to get back once again to why do CEOs hire them? Is it to alleviate their own accountability? So if things go bad, the CEO can say, well, that was McKinsey's decision, not mine.
Yeah, this is one of the beautiful things about their business model. I say in the book what they do is they sell the credit for their ideas. So if you're a CEO and you hire McKinsey and they give you a great idea, McKinsey's not running around trying to say, hey, that was us, that was us. You say, hey, aren't I a great CEO? So you get the credit for their ideas, but they, in return for that, they don't really take the blame.
How do they convince customers that a group of freshly minted MBAs know more about their company than their own employees?
I'm not sure they managed to convince everybody about that. What they convinced them for sure is that they're like a hardworking mercenary force, that, you know, smart, ambitious, young MBAs who work all night for weeks for them. And then they have the McKinsey network, which is partners with experience, and also, again, the work they do for everyone else in your industry.
Are consulting companies a positive force, to use your word, in American business? I remember the movie Office Space, when there's a scene where someone says, the consultants are coming, and everyone freaks out because they're afraid they're going to be fired. Do we need consultants?
You know, I come at that from two places in the book. On the one hand, they're a force for efficiency, for rationality, for a fresh look at a problem. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. On the other hand, they're sort of the rise of consulting in this modern era is indicative of our move away from actually doing things. Service industries that advise people on how to do things. And the question is whether society has been best served by all this brain power going into an industry that is actually doing things but telling people to do things or how to do things. And I say, you know, the logical extension of that is if everybody becomes a consultant, who will be left to consult?
Very interesting, and it's a great book. Thank you, Duff.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching The Street.